Welcome back everybody, and thank you for joining me in part 7 of how to make a VR space game. In the last video what we did was we got our gun shooting. In this video what we're going to do is we're going to be creating the AI. But first, before we do that, we're going to be changing a little bit with our gun and our ship script. I'll go ahead and show you what I changed here. What I did was I added these two variables. This first one is a game object, it's a gun. And the second one is a skinned mesh renderer, and that's our player. I'll show you what it looks like in the script here. If we go into our script here, space shuttle. Let me get rid of that one. That one's from something else. Alright, so our space shuttle here. Oh, that one's from something else too. Sorry, let me get that out of there. Alright. And all I did was, you can see game object and a skinned mesh renderer. And what we did was we went down to our update and we went to if we're not flying, we're going to set the gun object to true and the player's skin mesh renderer to true. And then if we're not flying, or if we are flying, then we're going to want to disable both of those. That way the gun isn't above the ship and you can't see the player through the ship or anything. And then when we get out, it's going to automatically set that back to be on. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm sure if you've been testing it out, then you have noticed that you can still see your gun when you get into the ship, and also that your player's head is sticking out of the top of the ship. See, now the gun's gone and you can't see the player's head right there anymore. Then when we get out, everything's back to normal. Alright, so that was easy and quick. For this next part, we're going to be putting in our, actually one more thing with the gun. We need some crosshair so we can see where we're aiming. So just go ahead and take these two canvases, just duplicate those, and take the text out of those. Select both of them again, right click, and add a UI image. And it'll add a UI image to both of those. And then there should be a link below to get the image I'm about to set here, the crosshair image. I didn't initially put it in the package because I wasn't planning on putting a gun in this. I just kind of decided that on impulse. Alright, and I'm going to change the scale here from 100 to 25 on the width and the height. And that should be working just fine. We have our crosshairs now. And we could probably disable those in the script too, but I'm not going to bother with it right now. Oh yeah, whatever. Let's just put it in there because it's really simple. We'll just get them as game objects here. So just copy that, and we'll say canvas 1 and canvas 2, or actually we'll put crosshair so we don't mistake any or get confused for which canvas they are. Crosshair 1 and crosshair 2, and then here where we enable all these things, we're going to do the same thing with our crosshair and stuff like that. So crosshair 1 dot set active true, and the same thing with our crosshair 2. And then we're going to take those and just put them right here and just change true to false. Alright, so that's good. Now our crosshairs should be working just fine. Let's just test it out really quick just to see if there's anything wrong with that. Alright, I think it's done loading now. And then let's go ahead and go on our ship and let's see how this works. Oop, I'm not going in my ship for some reason. Oh, because I didn't set my crosshairs. I always forget to do simple stuff like that. It's so simple, but for some reason I just can't seem to remember. That's right, it's on our ship here, on our space shuttle. And our crosshairs are going to be canvas 2 and 3. You can rename these to make them easier if you like. And then let's try this out. Alright, there. Now the crosshair is gone. If we get out, crosshair is back and everything's back. Working perfectly. Alright, now let's finally get to the AI. Go into the models folder and take the robot and bring it out. And let's set it a little far. just so it's not right in the player's face when we first start the game. And you can see he has a sword and a gun. And what I'm going to do is the sword is actually named plain. I guess I forgot to name that. Actually, I was never really done with this model. But just go ahead and delete the sword. And add the 2 gun sights onto the actual gun object. And, you know what? Actually, forget that. Get the gun out of there too. We're just going to do it this way. It's so much easier. Get the gun from the player. Just duplicate it. And bring it into the robot, and let's just reset the position and all that good stuff. Bring it up. What, -90? Yeah, -90 on the X. Just rotated that so that's facing forward. And then we're just gonna bring it up somewhere around here. It's a decent gun holding position. And yeah, that's good. Let's go ahead and let's add a component to the robot. We're gonna add the IK component that we use for our astronaut. And then we're just gonna get these positions and stuff and set them out and fill them in here. That's the reason why I just duplicated it, because I didn't want to have to take the time to set all those positions and everything. It's just a lot easier that way. Alright, and now what you're going to want to do is create a new controller, call it AI, and then just add a flying component in there, or flying animation in there. That's all you need. Don't need any parameters or anything right now, because we're just making it a really simple AI. And make sure that IK pass is checked on. So go ahead and add that controller to your player, or to the AI. And now this should all be working. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if this IK is messed up at all. Let's just go up to our enemy here, and let's just look at how he's holding the gun. It's looking pretty good from the distance there. Let's just turn. The hands are a little crooked, but I think that's fine for now. You can tweak it around a bit if you like. I just, that stuff takes a lot of time. I don't want this to be a really long video. For some reason, I don't move back very well. Oh, and that's one more thing. I changed one thing in the astronaut's controller. Here I had it so that if the movement was less than negative 0.4, then it would stay at 0.4. I changed it to 0.5, so that because for some reason he wasn't even moving backwards at all. But I might even change that up to like 0.6 or 0.55, because it looks like he's still taking a while to start going backwards. But anyway, let's get back to our AI. On our robot, we're going to want to add a new component here. First, I got to wait for that one to finish loading. Okay, now let's add a new component, and let's call it AI. And let's see, new script, C#, create and add. And also, let's add a capsule collider onto this player, because we're going to be adding a rigid body on him in a little bit here. Alright, and bring that collider up 1 on the Y, change its radius to 0.4 and its height to 2.5, and then just bring the robot up a bit, that way he's not in the ground. Alright, now open the AI script. Alright, and let's add some parameters in here. The first one is going to be a public transform. Actually, it doesn't even need to be public. It's going to be a transform. That's going to be our target. The second one is going to be a public float, and that's going to be our max speed. And the next one is just going to be, it doesn't need to be public. You can have it public if you want. It's going to be our speed. Actually, yeah, let's make it public so we can change that in the script. Or we can change that in the inspector, I meant to say. Alright, so we got that, and let's see here. Let's go ahead and, what else should I add? How about a boolean called shooting. Then we're going to add, let's see, we're going to need our distance, so let's add a float called distance. and then another public float called minimum distance or shooting distance. Or yeah, minimum distance is better because I want it to shoot even if it's farther than this, so minimum distance. And then yeah, that's good there. At the top here, let's require the rigid body again, like we've done with our player. Require component type of rigid body. Alright, that's good. And in the start function here, we're going to find that rigid body. Void start. RB. Oh, we didn't even. Here, first off, let's put the rigid body here. We got to have the reference to it. RB. There we go. Alright, so RB equals get component rigid body. And then also let's get our target. Target equals game object dot find, and that's going to be astro. That's what I named my astronaut. And then you're going to find this transform. Alright, so that's working. That's looking good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into our update here. And what we're going to say is distance equals vector3 dot distance. And that's going to be from the transform that, or from our position, or the AI's position, I should say, to the target's position. And yeah, that should be, I think that's good with our, on the update for now. Let's go ahead and get into our fixed update so we can start adding forces to our enemy here. What we're going to say is if our, if the distance is, how about, yeah, if the distance is greater or equal to shooting distance. Oh, I didn't put it as shooting distance. I put it as minimum distance. The min distance. Then we're gonna add a force to our rigid body. So rigid body dot add force, or RB dot add force, and then we're gonna say transform dot forward times speed. And yeah, that's good for now. We can mess with the force mode later, or if you want to. We don't really have to. And also, we're gonna want it to look. We're gonna want this. We're gonna want our enemy to look at us. We don't need to have it in this. I was gonna put it in there, but let's just have it out here so it's looking at us all the time. So transform dot look at, and then we'll say target dot position. Alright, so this should be working now. Oh, we got this shooting boolean. Let's just take, you can keep it in if you want. I'm taking it out for now just so I don't get confused or anything, because we're not doing anything with that. As a matter of fact, whatever, we'll do something with it right now. So if our distance is greater than the minimum distance, then we're going to be adding the force forward. Else, if we're closer than that minimum distance, we're going to be shooting. Just for now, we're going to do it like this. Later on, we're going to, I might, depending on, you know, how it goes, I'm going to test it out first, but I might just try to make this AI a little more advanced and make it so that he decides when he wants to shoot. But for now, we'll just do it like this. I'm not so sure whether I'm going to do that or not, but we'll see. So go ahead, save that. Let's make sure we don't have any errors here. And it's actually not going to add our rigid body because we had it on our player. We had this up here first. So I'm just going to delete it and then put the rigid body on there. Or put it back on there. It's going to automatically add the rigid body. And then take the gravity off the rigid body. And let's go ahead and set the maximum speed to something like 100. Speed to like 50. And the minimum distance 10. And then let's also add the aligning script that we made earlier. That way we're always aligning with this planet, depending on how far we are. Gravity is going to be the same as like the player and stuff and the ship. The planet is the planet. The smooth, we'll change it something like 5. The minimum distance was 2250 if you didn't change your scale, but I changed mine and I bumped it up 10, so I'm going to add an extra 0 on there to bump that up 10 too. And yeah, now that should be working just fine. Let's go ahead and let's test this out. see if he's running towards us or anything. Well, he won't really be running because he only has a flying animation, but yeah, you know what I mean. Let's see where he's at. Yeah, he's going kind of slow, but he is coming towards us. I'm going to change this max speed to like 200 and the speed to 100. And this is a good time to start messing with the force modes just to see how it affects the speed and stuff like that. But I'm just going to do it like this and keep it simple. So what if my force is a little high? It's simple. Alright, so yeah, he seems to be going just fine. And it actually looks like, yeah, that collider is dragging across the collider of the planet, and you can just see how he keeps on bumping forward and then bumping back, or he's not really bumping back, but he's like bumping forward, and it just looks weird. Or maybe he's not, because as you can see, he's not grounded anymore, but he's still going just as fast. Alright, so yeah, that seems to be working just fine. I like that. I think this is pretty good for our AI for now. One more thing I want to add to him is a health component. That way we can, kill him and stuff. So go ahead and add a component. Call it health. And then open it up. Alright, let's see here. Let's just create a public float here. We're going to call that health. Oops, I keep on pressing wrong buttons and stuff. And then, yeah, that's good. Let's just equal that to 100. That's good. And then what we're going to say here is we're going to go into our update function. So void update if health is less than or equal to 0, then we're gonna do some type of dying function. So die. Oh, I guess that's not there yet, so we're gonna create this dying function here. So we don't need to make it public or anything, so void die, and we're gonna say, how about destroy this game, or actually no, not destroy this game object. We're just gonna change the position or something. Let's say transform dot position equals I'm just gonna do this by vector 3 dot 0, I believe it is. That should just make it all yep, that'll make it all zeros, and it'll just go to the center of the world. And that's what that does. And then we'll say health equals 100. That way his health will go back up. And all that's going to do is change his position to pretty much where we're at right now when we first start. And then it's going to change his health back to 100. So it's really not going to die or anything, but it's going to give the illusion. So save that, and then go back into your shoot script. And then here where we have the debug log, where if it hits a collider, we're going to add another if statement here. So if the hit collider dot should we do name? Yeah, we'll do a tag. We'll do tag equals, and then we'll say enemy, which we'll create here. I think I actually already created it, but you can go ahead and create it in yours. And then what we're going to say is if it equals enemy, then our hit dot collider dot get component, and then we're going to get the component health dot health, and then we're going to say minus equals what's going on there? Did I not save the health script? Public float health. Let's see, let's go back in there. Health. For some reason, oh, whoops. I didn't do that right. There we go. It's because I didn't have those little parentheses in there. I'm going to say health minus equals damage, right? Yeah, damage. Alright, and that should be taking health when we shoot them, if his collider has the name of, or the tag of enemy. And we're going to set that right now onto this game object. So here you'll see the tag, just change it to enemy. If you don't have enemy, just add the tag and add an enemy, or whatever you want to call it in there. You can call it whatever you want. Just make sure that his tag is the same. Alright, the private field AI shooting is assigned but never used. Okay, yeah, whatever. That's just saying that boolean that I created, it's not really doing anything. there's no point for it right now, but it's okay. We don't need to worry about that. So let's go ahead and let's just save our project, and then let's try this out here. Let's press play, see how it works. Oh wait, well, oh, you know what, it should be working fine. Let me go ahead and start shooting the player here, or the enemy, and let's see what it does. It doesn't really look like it's doing. It says bullet hit something, and let's look at his health just to see if it's even changing anything here. His health is still at 100. Let's go ahead and let's get a little closer. Maybe I'm too far and I'm not actually hitting him. So I just shot a bullet. Let me just shoot him from up close here. Yeah, you can see he's not shooting back or anything. It's not even telling me that I shot anything. Bullet hit something, bullet hit something, bullet hit something. Let's see here, and the health is still at 100. Let's see, so we have, if the hit collider's tag is enemy, then the hit collider's component health is going to take away damage to the health variable. So health, if health equals, if health is, oh, what the less, why did I put greater than? That's hilarious. Well, at least you guys didn't run into that. If you're paying attention to what I was saying, then you know that it should have been less. Alright, so now let's go ahead and try it again. Well, first of all, it should have, yeah, okay, yeah, it wouldn't have done anything actually, because I was saying if its health is greater than 0, then it's going to be 100, and if it's at 100, then it's always going to be greater than 0. So let me see why I can't turn my head for some reason. My head's not turning. My body is, but my head's not. Let me just restart it. Okay, just waiting for it to play. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, my battery's pretty low. Okay, well that's great. Unity just stopped working. Alright, well, this is bullshit. Alright, sorry about my link, but that really upset me how Unity just messed up like that. But luckily we just saved right before this, so we should be exactly where we left off. Let me go ahead and try this again. Again, sorry about the language, but that really ticked me off. Alright, so let's go up to the AI. Let's shoot him a couple times and see what happens. Oh, his pivot is in a weird place. You can see how he's looking up even though he's supposed to be looking at me. Alright, so he dies and stuff and he respawns back into the center of the world. So let's look at his health actually, because we weren't looking at his health. Yep, you can see it's taking health. And every time we shoot, or every time we hit him, it says that we hit him, and every time we shoot, it says that we shoot. So our AI is working just fine, and its health is working just fine. In the next video, what we're going to be doing is making the AI shoot, and we're going to be adding the health component to our player also. And once again, I definitely appreciate you guys joining me and sticking it out with me. I know this video was quite long, but we got a lot done, and I really appreciate it, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.